All right, good morning, Advantage members. Let's get started. First thing, I want to start off with something funny, a Green Day song that reminded me of when I was younger, talking about Wake Me Up When September Ends. I think this is very appropriate for the kind of time and month we're in. So I'm going to play a little snippet and hope you guys enjoy it.
Coming who we are as my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends.
So I just wanted to start off with that because guess what? That's the kind of mood that I'm in right now, which is I really just want September to be over so we can be back on our way to the upside of the market, because September's, as I've mentioned before, are pretty rocky months in the market due to rotations that happen, due to the quad witching that happens in September, right? Where you have multiple expiries of single option futures, single option contracts, quarterly contracts expiring. So these cause a lot of volatility in the market. And now we're kind of getting into the middle of September, and the quad witching is coming this Friday, which is the 17th. So this is why we've seen volatility the last couple of days. Okay, and I expect honestly more volatility pretty much till the end of the week and quite possibly till the end of September. But here's a few things that I'm noticing in the market that I believe are probably going to be good. Okay, so first things first, what you have is really, this is our range. Okay, this is excess and deviation, and this is probably excess and deviation down here. So now we've come back within this range, which I believe is where a majority of the price action and base will be built of reaccumulation before we start pushing higher into October and November. And if we pair that with the other Bitcoin dominance chart that I keep an eye on, where is it? Right here. If we pair that with the Bitcoin dominance chart, right, what this will kind of show us is, let's see where the dominance chart is. BTC Dom. Where is my chart? What the heck is going on? That's weird. Dominance. This is quite strange. Is anyone having issues with TradingView? Or is it just me? I feel like I'm the only one who's having trouble with TradingView the last few days. Okay. Let's see if Total 2 shows up. No issues for you, huh? Okay, that's quite strange because what the hell is going on? Can I pull up any other chart? LTC? Okay, I can pull up LTC chart, but I can't pull up Bitcoin dominance. Okay, there it goes. BTC.D. Okay, I'll load it again, I guess. Let's see. There it goes. Okay, fantastic. All right, so what we have in the dominance chart is a complete breakdown in dominance, but guess what? Now we come to a very, very unique point in the market where dominance had previously pumped up from. This was May 2021, right? So let's go back to what happened in May 2021. Okay, that was this point right here. This point of rollover and sell-off is when dominance really started to pick up. Let's actually look up the exact date where dominance started to bottom and pick up. That's 18th and then 19th, right? So let's go back to dominance over here. This is 18th and 19th, right? So 18th and 19th here, which is 18th and 19th here. So we had this big sell-off in BTC and dominance spiked. What does that mean? So that means that when BTC was going down, altcoins were actually getting demolished at a higher percentage. That's why dominance goes up, because dominance is nothing but overall BTC market cap versus overall market cap of crypto, right? So if we kind of look at, say, let's go to CoinGecko, right? We look at BTC market cap versus everything else, because everything else is altcoins, and BTC market cap or BTC dominance is really the only thing that we typically pay attention to, right? So what we have here is a very unique positioning of dominance, which is we're once again coming back to the base, except this time around, we're not rolling to the downside. We're actually building a quite possible reaccumulation base that looks like it's going to break to the upside. So what does that imply? If BTC dominance is going to break up and Bitcoin price action is going to break up with it, guess what's going to go down? It's altcoins that are going to go down. Okay, so I would typically say that altcoins are going to go sideways. Some might go up, but for the most part, a lot of them are going to go sideways or go down. And that is how you get a spike in dominance, a spike in BTC price, but everything else kind of will move sideways or just not go up as much. Okay. And one of the best ways to visually see that is by something like this, right? If y'all remember over the last several weeks, here's how things have looked. Okay. So here's how things have looked. Here's BTC. See this thing ringing right here, this little black dot? Here's BTC down here, bottom of the pack. Here's everything else, which is all the other altcoins. Other altcoins have been significantly outperforming BTC. This is over the last several weeks, okay? Now, if we go to the 1 minute chart, which is showing us what's happening on an hourly basis or, real time, basically, guess where BTC is? It's at the top of the pack, right? So BTC is signaling to you that, hey, I'm gearing up quite possibly for a bigger move to the upside, and dominance is ready for a bigger move to the upside. One can even argue that this is a huge W bottom that might rip up in dominance, in which case BTC might rip up in a pretty massive way too. So I'm thinking that as we head into Q4, the asset that you definitely want to be paying attention to is Bitcoin. Now, that doesn't mean that other assets that we have positions in, like ETH and FTT, won't go up. I think they definitely will, to be honest. But I think for the most part, altcoins have had fun over the last several weeks, and altcoins will probably need to calm down, especially the L1s, which I've spoken about before, right? If y'all remember, Solana, right? Solana had gone up basically a 10x, right? Remember down here, 10x from the lows to the highs, right? So I think now Solana is going to calm down in this range. One can even make the argument that, oh, maybe this is a head and shoulders pattern and is going to break down further. I tend to believe that Solana is probably going to get back to, I don't know, anywhere between like 125, 110, $100, somewhere like down here, in my opinion. And that range high is 125 down to a low of $100. So that's why I came up with that range, right? I believe that Solana is quite probably going to come down here. Many other altcoins I would figure are going to have a retracement. And in that same way, this is where we're going to see the rotation of money. As bigger players take profit on assets like Solana, quite possibly, taking profits on the way down, they're probably going to roll over their profits into BTC, okay, which is probably gearing up for a bigger run over the next few months. Because Bitcoin, it takes a lot more money to move, right? And so for Bitcoin to move higher and higher, you have to probably move money over from some of these other altcoins and rotate them into BTC. So I'm thinking that's probably the game plan over the next, I don't know, few weeks, few months. I don't think that means that the market overall is going to be bearish, to be honest. Like, I think what it really implies is that, okay, well, BTC is getting ready for a move up, right? Remember I had explained to y'all how September looked last year. So if you look at this block right here and compare that to September last year, this was pretty much most of September. See that? It looks kind of almost similar. Sharp drop beginning of September, slow and very nice grind up, continuous higher lows, break out into October, start ripping up higher into November, and just go turbo mode into December, January, and pretty much, February, right? That's ideally what I'm thinking is going to happen with BTC. And I don't think that means that altcoins are just going to not move anymore, because for the most part, when BTC started to move up like this, I mean, other altcoins did too, technically, right? It's not like altcoins just stayed quiet. But I think for now, as BTC gains traction and builds sort of a base in this area, this is where altcoins might calm down a little bit. So as you get into the next few weeks of end of September and maybe even beginning of October, don't be surprised that your altcoins are not moving as much, and don't be surprised that BTC is starting to make some moves. Okay, so I just wanted to make y'all aware of that. All right. Before I forget, the one thing I want to cover is, some of y'all are new in our Advantage community, and if you go to our Medium page, there's a ton of articles that we've written about, ton of projects that we've written about, and one of which is Mina protocol, which we wrote about, as you can see, on June 22nd, right? In the beginning of June or middle of June, as you could see, Mina was somewhere around like $1, $1.50, right? Mina is now currently at $5 or $6, right? And I'm not saying that, hey, we were able to pick off the bottom perfectly and write about it and tell you all about it. I'm stating this because I do a lot of homework in terms of what projects are up and coming. I have subscriptions to probably like the best, research services, which I pay a ton of money for. And the reason I say that is because what you get in the Advantage community is not only the videos that you get from me, but also these deep, research-driven articles with insane alpha inside them that help you get in early on these projects. Okay. And even though, I may not be buying into these projects, I'm letting y'all know that this is what I have my eye on. This is where the money is. This is where the smart investors are. And this is where, good people are building on a project. Okay. So I wanted to mention this because if you actually go through our Alpha Trades Medium, we've written about a lot of stuff relatively early. We even wrote about PERP protocol, I think last month, which now, PERP protocol over the last several months has been kicking ass. Okay. We wrote about Olympus DAO, that another sort of DAO asset or DAO project that's been doing really, really well. We wrote about Curve Finance when Curve was close to like maybe $1, $1.50. We've written about many things. AVAX we wrote about before we had that big pop in the market, right? AVAX pretty much doubled basically since our article was written. So the point is that when we write these big research-driven articles, these threads, make sure you read them, because there's a ton of research from myself and Bradley that has gone into this to give you guys the first glimpse of where exactly people are focusing their time, energy, money, and attention. Okay. And in crypto, things like this move fast, right? Within the span of month, 2 months, 3 months, by the time we write about these projects, prices may have exploded. So you want to be paying attention when we throw out these articles. Just read these articles. They're 10 to 15-minute reads, but they can give you some tremendous, alpha, tremendous returns if you just do your research and read some of these research pieces that we've put out. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's what I wanted to cover. So for the most part, again, as of right now, I think, most of the altcoin market is really going to be separated in terms of movements. Like what you're going to start seeing is some altcoins are going to start breaking out that weren't typical because guess what? Solana and the L1s were kind of ruling the market over the last several weeks. So where the real alpha is trying to recognize, where exactly could the next big breakouts be, where the next, movement in the market's going to be. Well, we know for sure that BTC is gearing up potentially for a big run over the next few weeks, given the fact that dominance is bottoming, given the fact that BTC is building a very nice potentially reaccumulation range right here. And by the way, reaccumulation range doesn't mean that we cannot one more time sweep these lows, trap everybody, and then be on our merry way back up, right? All this stuff, like whatever happens in this large range right here is likely going to be noise, okay? Once we see a breakout to the upside or a breakdown to the downside, that's where the real money is going to come and flood in. Whether sellers want to come in and start torching the market here, or the buyers want to come in right here and just destroy all the bears and keep ripping up, okay? But everything in this area right here, you just take it with a grain of salt. And this is why at the beginning of the video, I played y'all this, when will September end kind of thing, right? Because we know seasonality effects take a hold of the market. We know that on days like yesterday where you have insane whipsaw in things like LTC or BTC, when this kind of movement happened, you kind of, honestly, you crap your pants a little bit because you may have, I don't know, picked up a wrong position on the wrong side, or you think that BTC is going to dump further and this is the end of the bull market, anything that really pops up in your head. I would urge you to be careful with those thoughts and put those, in my opinion, on the back burner, because all you have to do is you just got to survive September. Okay. Are we clear so far? How's everybody in the chat doing? Great. Everybody good? Perfect. All right. So covering markets right now on the alt side. So I've had my eye on CRV since the last few days. CRV, I think, is just stuck in this little band right here, kind of like this. I want to say it's coming right back into resistance, but I want to say CRV is kind of ready for a breakout because I believe this is the channel that I was trading in. And if CRV can get above this resistance line, which is probably like 270, 275, the next big target that I have in mind is about 350, 360. And then beyond that, it's like way the heck up here, $5 or $6 range. Okay. But don't get trapped sort of, trading and thinking that, hey, this thing has to keep, ripping straight up. It is entirely possible that CRV has, say, one more pullback and then it sweeps up like this. So if you're thinking about longing CRV, the trade to take is something like this, right? At minimum, you're going to have to keep your stop down here. Maybe it might be deeper somewhere down here, but guess what? Like your first TP is right here. Your next target profit is probably somewhere $5 to $6 area up here, right? So even if you're risking, say, I don't know, 25, 30%, you're looking at maybe 100% return on the breakout if it happens. Okay. So that's, anyway, one of the assets I'm paying attention to. And I will say, by the way, if I'm willing to take a trade, I will let y'all know, right? Right now, I'm just sitting tight. If I see some good trades happening in the market and I'm able to get in, well before the market's already driving it up, I'll let y'all know. But for the most part, September, I'm going to try to size down on all my trades. I'm probably just going to try to really not take trades if possible. If I see great opportunities, I will take them, right? There's no hard and fast rule like, hey, September is like the fasting period for not taking trades. Like I don't see markets that way. If you see an opportunity, you take it. That's how markets should be. But if you also see that, September seasonality brings into a tougher market to trade, that means you kind of got to manage your risk better. You got to size down more, and you just got to be way more careful than you were, previously in previous conditions. Okay, cool. So CRV is really the only one, honestly, today that I have on my list. FTT, I really like just because of the fact that, I don't know, I still believe that it's going to be an asset that's going to be trading at, 100, 150 at some point. But that doesn't mean that, over here, it's not going to go into full blown chop mode, right? Like, I actually think that this area right here might get swept and then recover and then push back up. I don't think we come back here in this 52, 53 high and the low 43, 44. I don't think we come back here. If we do, something is really wrong in the market. Okay. But I don't think that happens, to be completely honest. Other assets I had my eye on, which I was kind of positive about, ADA, not looking good. Again, this is high, range high, range high. I mean, this is now definitely looks like a deviation, looks like it wants to start breaking down. If that's the case, then I think the position here to take is actually a short. If this is a deviation, we're going to start collapsing back down inside range high. And this is your short right here. Target profit is somewhere down here. Okay. I know it looks bad. I mean, you don't think that it can break down further, but you'd be surprised, if BTC is gearing up for a run and, more big traders and whales and funds are wanting to rotate money and take profits, then this is how it might look, to be honest. Like, all this might be BS in the market. We're going to collapse back down into range, build a base here, and then start to head back up. That's what it might look like. Okay. All right. Any other questions? And by the way, Hunter, our friend, says, looks like the Solana network is down. Interesting. I don't know. I think we got to be careful with this. I don't know what's going on in the market. So please do stay aware of that. I haven't really seen anything regarding Solana. Does anybody have news on that? Solana network. Let's see. I don't know. Seems to have issues at the moment. I cannot confirm any transactions. It seems to have gotten stuck in the block. Okay. I don't know. We'll have to confirm it. But yeah, it looks not so good. Let's see on Solana status. Solana mainnet beta is experiencing intermittent instability. This began approximately 45 minutes ago. Okay, so yeah, looks like it is confirmed. I'm going to follow this account just to be sure. All right, cool. Well, I mean, other than that, Phantom is not loading either. Oh my God, wouldn't this be hilarious if like AVAX, Phantom, and Solana go down, but then Ethereum is like the one that's still up? So much for the ETH killer talk, right? This is why, honestly, this is what I've said before, like all this talk about ETH killers, it's way too premature, way too premature. I mean, these projects have like years to go to come anywhere near ETH. I get it that they're cheap and fast, but I mean, 10-year experience and just overall, like going through the ups and downs, that means something in crypto. That means something to crypto, in crypto for a lot of people, a lot of funds. And I don't think people are just ready to pivot away from ETH and call it quits, right? So anyway, thought that was kind of interesting. All right, any other questions? Anything else? And by the way, one of our friends here in the user requested had mentioned TKTZ. He's been talking about this one USDT chart, which I talked about like a little while back, or was it back here in July, actually? And even then, I mean, my goodness, like I thought the chart was kind of ready to start breaking out of this huge looking bull flag. And eventually, once it happened, I mean, it was just like ripping. Like this is where one is, now. So this Harmony, one token, keep your eye on it. Okay, there are some hidden gems. They're not really hidden because, guess what? Our community members talk about them. But if you pay attention around the community, like Mike, our friend has mentioned multiple times about ACH, right? Or QNT. These assets have been trading relatively well. Like I think when ACH got listed, it just spiked up like really hard. QNT, same thing. This one's been doing really, really well over the last several weeks. right? So if you just pay attention around the community, and even if you list off your ideas of what you think is happening in projects where you think that people are maybe not paying attention to, this helps everybody to see some alpha that others may not see. And this is the point of a community, is to share this kind of information. So I hope you guys stay a little bit more vocal. Be talkative. There's no judgment in our community. There's no such thing as dumb questions or smart questions. They're just questions of curiosity, because at the end of the day, we're all here to get smart. We're all here to make money, however that comes. Okay. All right. That's all I have for today. I hope you found this analysis helpful. Until then, take care. I will keep you updated through the day. Cheers.